Welcome to another edition of Talking Models. Today we're going to take a look at this beautiful kit from Pestilence Labs, the Hunchback of Notre, sculpted by Jeff Yagher, and available now, limited supplies. Contact Mark over at Pestilence Labs to get one of these. This to me is the kit of 2019. Boom, right here. Can't say enough good about this kit. Jeff has nailed it. Everything from the cathedral wall to the wheel of death to the base to the body to the posture to the head. It's just all there. Bravo, Jeff Yagher. Way to go, Mark, for bringing this to us collectors. Thanks, brother. So I'm going to talk a little bit what I did this kit to bring him to life. The kit is in the line of the Aurora box art tributes. This is another entry into that. And it comes with two heads, and you have an option to build it either way, but the kit just begs to sit on your shelf, guys. So let's talk about this piece that based on the Bama artwork for Aurora back in the day. Think of the memories. Oh, brought a lot of memories building this one back. Again, thank you, Mark and Jeff. Okay, let's take a look at this kit. All the detail that you see in the cathedral wall, the detail on the base here, the little piece that goes between the base and the wheel of death, as I call it. You've got the ropes that tied him down to the wheel. You have the scars on his back, such detail in his shirt that he has on, then the hands with the hair on the chest, the brackets that held him in on his wrists, the expression of his face. Jeff just did an amazing job capturing Anthony Quinn. Now, the head that you see on the one I'm talking about today was not on the box art for Aurora, or when Polar Lights reintroduced it. There was some licensing issues with the family, and that just never came to be. So this, to me, is like looking at Lon Chaney Sr. as the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It also comes with the Anthony Quinn head, which is beautifully done by Jeff. I painted this one up, and I basically secured this one to the body, so I'm not going to be switching them out. But I am trying to acquire another base minus the cathedral, everything but the head, so I can do up another one and just place that one beside him with Anthony Quinn. So to me, that's the only way to go. So what we did with this one, we also added this wood base that is on the bottom that does not come with the kit. I just wanted something I could secure the wall to and secure the base to, and that way it's pretty permanent and very heavy. So this one just begs to have something special. Okay, we'll start with the cathedral wall itself. I did a few colors to pull that one together. There's a lot of reference material for the cathedral on Google, and there's you could take a look at it and kind of adapt it into your own and see what you come up with. So yes, there's a lot of colors I used to pull this together. It was base coated black. I shot that, I hand brushed this with a good acrylic black, the big bottles you can get from Michael's. After I did that, I started the colors. Grave Polar Gray was the first color I used. Shot it all on the wall, complete. Not the tops, but the wall was covered with that. Then it was time to start bringing in the different colors. Next up was Gargoyle Gray from the Badger Freak Flex line. And I just kind of started hitting certain rocks with that. Just, pick a pattern and just kind of start spotting in those different colors of the rocks. Then what I like to do is come back in with some transparent black, just kind of mist it down, and then start building up the colors again. Now, you'll notice in the bricks there's some red and there's some blue. So for that I used a couple different colors, again from the Badger Freak Flex, Arterial Blue and Asphyxia Blue. So basically it was shot with the Arterial Blue, and then the center of it was hit with the Asphyxia Blue, and then muted down a little bit with the transparent black. So it's a process of going back and forth with it, building up your colors. For the red, I enlisted this, where was it here? The hammer red, and I started hitting that on the red patterns next to the blue. And once I was happy with that, I just misted that a little bit with the transparent black to kind of tone everything down. And so it's just back and forth, a little heavier, lighter, rotate your bricks until you get the pattern that you're looking for. Like I said, on Google there's plenty of reference for the cathedral itself, so you can kind of go for that. Now, for the tops of it, the roof area, if you will, a few different colors pulled that one off. We started with the wooden stake was one of the colors I shot as my base coat. Then what I did is I came in with the hammer horror red, and I started hitting spots in here. Again, the pattern like on the wall, you want to incorporate that into the roof. So just start making your pattern. Light red, dark red, light red, dark red, transparent black to bring it all down. Then I came in with this pink eye burgundy, and I just started hitting, again, just mixed up the pattern, just shot a little of the pink eye here, there, moving it all in. Wooden stake. Brown was also used on a couple of the little parts of the roof, just a couple little browns in there, like a kind of dirty it up, if you will. And I just kept going back and forth with those colors. Then I did a couple of things from the Garage US Colors. Black red was misted over all of the roof, just to kind of bring things together a little bit. You don't want to go heavy with that. You want to go back about 5-6 inches, maybe a little further, and do the waltz I'm always talking about. 1, 2, 3. Mist it up. Then you're going to come back in with your original colors and just kind of punch up little areas of the roof itself to get the colors that you're looking for. Then what I did is I shot it with a little bit of transparent burnt sienna. I concentrated that more toward the lower parts and toward the peaks of the roof. Just kind of dabbled with it a little bit, just to give it some different hues of reds and browns, and just kind of mix it all up a little bit. Then what I did is I came in with this from Comart. It's transparent burnt orange. Cool color. I took that and I misted the whole piece with it. The roof, just shot both sides, and the peak that's on top here, just shot it with that color. Just to kind of, just gave it a reddish, brownish, orange. It just tied everything together for me. So I just did that, sprayed it down, called the roof done. Now there's some mossy areas on this where I green, like in the corners, along the bottom, in the corners of the roof. That was transparent forest green. I simply came in and just punched in the greens. On the bottom of the pillars, I just kind of did a pattern, like a half circle, along the bottom area, just like it's a little bit mossed up. It's just from time. It just dirtied it up. Then again, once I was done with that, from about 12 inches back, I shot the whole piece with a transparent black, and I called it done. And that was simple. A lot of tedious things in the cathedral because of the bricks building your colors, but I was very happy with it. Now, for the wooden base here, a few colors were used with that. I used mummified brown, wooden stake, transparent dark brown, tie-in brown, and a little bit of, when we get to wheel, I'll bring this one out. So basically it was base coated with the tie-in brown. I shot the whole wooden base with that. Once I had that, I came in with the transparent dark brown and started punching in the shadows. There's a lot of detail Jeff has in this. So I just kind of just punched everywhere he had the wood, the detail, the things like you'd see in real wood, knot holes, things of that nature. Punch it hard with the transparent dark brown. So once I had that, I came in with the wooden stake brown, which is a little bit of a, it's an in-between that tie-in brown. The tie-in brown ended up being my highlight color. And I just shot it with this wooden stake all along the parts, and the same thing with the wheel. Just worked in unison. You have one, you might as well get the other one done. Went around all the legs, everything with that wooden stake. Then I would come back in with the tie-in brown and punch in the tops on the leg, everywhere like in the center, on the wheel, on the sides of the wheel. Just kind of punch it all up. Just kind of hit it hard with that. Then I came back in with a couple different colors, transparent black and transparent raw umber, and just shot the whole piece. And again, then you begin your process back and forth. You get what the highlight color, come back in with the transparent dark brown, keep going back and forth with the trans black, mix it up so it looks worn. That's what you're trying to get with this. I went with a darker worn look for this. And then what I did is I came in with the transparent red oxide, and I just shot a little bit of red into the wood. In the front, on the sides of the legs, a little bit on top. Punched it hard on the rivets that go around the wheel. I just used that red oxide, just really punched that area up so you get that worn look. That was also used on the rings that go into the wheel. I shot that with the red oxide, and then you kind of mist over that a little bit with the transparent black, transparent dark brown. Just kind of dirty it up and tie everything into your wheel. And that's how I ended up doing that. Then there was a couple other colors that were used. One of them that I really liked was that transparent raw umber. That just seems to just tie it all together. I just kept spraying that back and forth, back and forth. Now on the ropes that you see over the black, I shot it with some of that tie-in brown, washed it down with some dark brown, transparent black, back and forth process, dirtying it up, and then the ropes and the rings and everything on this part of the base was done. So again, it's a process on the base, it's a process on the wheel. You just go back and forth until you get the look that you're looking for. I wanted it more of reds, browns, dark accents, so that's what I did to get this look. So, on to the Hunchback. I'll start down here with his pants. On his pants, lots of different things were used. I started out with a base coat of the tie-in brown, several washes to bring that baby to life. Transparent burnt umber, transparent raw umber, and transparent rich brown. All those were used on this, just going back and forth on his pants, building up, bringing your highlights up, shadowing them in, bringing them up, shadowing them in, back and forth. Just punch all the folds, everything deep with that transparent dark brown, and you can build those deep shadows. And so you just keep going back and forth with those colors, bring in your transparent black, kind of tone it all down, and it just ties everything beautifully. Again, I can't stress enough, it's a process. You'll punch in a little more in the highlight, the knee area, tops of the thighs, the calves, and then also on the leg parts that he had on the bottom, the other bottom part of his pants, if you will. I just punched that in and just kept going back and forth. His boots were shot up with straight mummified brown, and then I just kind of built it up with some black, some washes of raw umber, dark brown, until I got what I was looking for. And just always remember to hit your highlights hard, but you can kind of tone it down with that trans black or one of those transparent browns. So his legs were done. Now, for the part that he wore here, the clothes on him, a few different colors for this. Got into the Graduous colors, and I base coated it with olive green. So the whole shirt areas were shot with that heavy over black, and you just get some nice natural shadows. Shot it all with that. Then I came in with some transparent medium green, and I started punching in all the shadows, all the folds of his shirt here. Just punch, punch, punch. Come back in with the olive green and start hitting the highlights of it, and again, back and forth process. And then what I did is I came in with light green, and I hit all the highlights with that on the tops of his arms, the back of it, the front of it, everywhere there's a highlight along the front where it meets the chest. Just punch it like that, and you'll see the natural progression of the three different colors, and you're building on that until you get to something like this. Then I came back in with the Body Bake Black from Freakflex Yagher, and I shot all the folds with that and blended that from the fold up into the green. I hit it pretty hard so the shadows and the folds would be very deep in color. That's how I accomplished the look that you see here. And that was all I did with the greens, and that finished them off nicely. Now the shackles on his arms over the black, I just used some silver, just kind of dry brushed it in, toned it down with transparent black, and called it done. Now on to the skin tones. A few different things on this. My trusty old Reaper paints, the Master Series of the 3 flesh colors. I started with the tan skin, shot the whole thing. Then I kind of took some of the tan skin shadow, thinned it down, sprayed it over all the skin. Everything on here, his hands, his head, the head on the Anthony Quinn other head, everything was shot at once, so I had all my colors going. Once I did that, I came in with the tan skin highlight and just started hitting all the tops of his knuckles, his shoulders, and the front, the bones that you see sticking out in the back, just hit all the tips of them, all the different folds and highlights on his head, which is his nose, his cheekbones, his eyebrow bones, everywhere, hit the highlights pretty good with that. Then what I like to do is I come back in with that tan skin shadow, thin it down, lightly mist it over to tie it all together. Then I went a step further. I pulled out the pale flesh from Freakflex, and I again used that and kind of hit some of the other areas of the highlights, kind of blending from the top of it was this pale flesh, and you still leave some of your other flesh, and you just let that all blend together to give different highlight areas to the skin. And then once I had that, it was just coming in with some pastels with some different colors and just kind of hitting the folds, deepening the shadows on his knuckles, on the insides of his palms of his hand. You just kind of tie all that together. And then what I did is I came in with transparent dark brown, and I kind of did that again. Punched in over the knuckles, around where the hair on his hands meet, and both the hair around his chest, just to give some depth to it. And just start establishing those. And it works. I used a little bit on the folds on his face, on both of the faces, where the hairline on the head meets the hair. Just punch it in a little bit with that dark brown, that transparent. Don't go heavy, obviously. You want to do like a real light, low pressure on the finger, and just kind of just follow the folds and build them up. Now under his eyes, I hit it with some transparent Mars Red, and I just shot under his arms, a little bit on his cheeks on each side to give it like a rosy look, if you will. And then got all that where I was happy. Did a little bit on his hands, and I also used that for his back, for all the scars from the whip. I just shot that over each scar, and then I came in with some red, and I just, with a fine brush, filled in all the scars with that. Came back in with the transparent Mars Red and just kind of shot it so it looked bruised. A little bit heavier on the outside of the bruises, just so it looks like they were puffy and, you know, like they hurt, because I'm sure it did. So with that done, that was basically his skin tones. You just go back and forth with that colors in that order until you get what your eye sees, and you call it done. Now for the hairy areas on his hands, his chest, and his hair itself, over the black, it was old school dry brushing. These are the colors that I used. I hit it with some dark brown. That was my first initial color. And once I had that color, I would spray over all the hair areas the transparent dark brown, just to kind of take the starkness of it away, but give it some more depth. Then I came in with this burnt sienna. And I just dry brushed again, just hit a little bit heavier on the tops, on his hands, on his chest, and then you just come back in with your transparent dark brown, tone it down a little bit, and just even a light misting of the transparent black, to me, just tied it all together, and it was done. Now, for his eyes, bleach bone tan was the base color for that, and once I had that done, I just came in. Jeff has the pupils sculpted in to the figure itself, into the head, and I just painted that in with body bag black, leaving a hint of that. I came in with Rotten Tooth Tan, and I made my color for his eyes. And then there's a pupil on there. You come back in with your black again, hit the center pupil. So you have the pupil, the color, and leave a ring of the black so it all shows the transition. Everything I did on this head, I duplicated on the regular head. So it's the same process, same thing. Some of that Mars Red too was used on his lips, but then I always like to come back in with the tongue color, and I just kind of hit the centers of the lips and kind of give it the fleshy look. And that was also used on the bottom of his eye. You take that tongue and you gently use a brush to give it that natural pink thing look that you see when you pull your eye down. And that, for his teeth, was also Rotten Tooth Tan, a little bit of highlight of the bleach bone tan, and then you want to take some transparent dark brown and just kind of dirty them up a little bit. And that was everything to their faces, and they were done. So it's a lot of work getting there, but it's a lot of fun work. This one was a joy to paint. It really was. Last but not least was the sign. You get two nameplates. You have this one, which is like the box art from Aurora, then you get a thinner one. I just chose to go with this because I like the look. So I just painted it all, shot it, hand brushed it with black, shot it again with body bag black, and then brought out some colors. For that was Got Ill Green from Badger. And then for the biggest part, the Hunchback, I used Cat's Eye Yellow. And for the red, I used this Sunburn Red, all from the Badger Freak Flex line. And those are really nice colors. You know, I hand brushed those on, and I did probably 2-3 coats, just light coats over it, finished it up. And then for the rim around the sign, I pulled out this beautiful color here, which is the maroon, deep wound maroon. And I just went around the sign itself, again, 2-3 coats. The Badger Freak Flex colors on these line is very good. They're a strong base coat. I can't recommend them enough. They give you a strong base coat. And you just, once you put that on, you got a nice foundation. And that's why I chose to use that for the sign. It kind of pops. And that is the Hunchback of Notre Dame by Pestilence Labs. Currently available, but according to Mark, in short supplies. So I would definitely reach out to him and say, I want one of these. I saw it on Talking Models and I have to have it. Will you take my money, please? And Mark will say, well, okay, I'll take your money. Mark is a great guy. Shayna and Mark just run this company, and they are personable. They are good people. So support him. He's a producer just like me, and he's producing some good stuff. So remember, hit him up, send him a note, contact him, and get yourself one of these. You will not be sorry. So thanks again for stopping in today to Talking Models. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers. Can I count on you today? If you are a subscriber, thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't subscribed yet, help me to get to 200. I'd greatly appreciate it. I don't get anything. Unfortunately, you don't win anything. But we get the word out about this channel. There's a lot of us in this small hobby, guys, that love doing what we do. And you girls too. So remember, support those channels that are trying to get life into this hobby. And let your friends and other people know in the hobby that it's there. I'd greatly appreciate it. So thanks again for stopping in. And as always, may the Lord bless your day.